آزادی بیان
言论自由
free speech.
As I was saying, Al Jazeera really sort of came into its own in 2011 covering the Arab Spring, praised for its coverage, which sort of had a cultural understanding which was maybe missing from other broadcasters, but at the same time it was criticised for its insipid coverage of the uprising in Bahrain. Do you think that's a sort of fair criticism? And obviously this is linked to the fact that Al Jazeera is state-owned. Did politics enter Al Jazeera's coverage last year?
No. The answer is no. It is not fair to accuse Al Jazeera of that, for one simple reason. This reason is, if you look at all the revolutions that we saw in the Arab world, it was not Al Jazeera that created the revolution. It was not media. It was the people who led solid and consistent protests that turned to become uprising, and then it turned to become a revolution, and they got rid of their regimes because of people, not because of media. This is number one. In the case of Bahrain, it was exceptional in one manner. There was no consensus amongst the people of Bahrain in converting these protests into a revolution demanding the change of the regime, like what happened in Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, Yemen, and happening right now in Syria. The society split into two halves: the Shias, who are against the regime, and the Sunnis, who are pro the regime. In this case, it is not the population against the regime, it is part of the population against another part of the regime. What I'm saying is, events eventually find their way to screens. We do not, and we should not, interfere in the process. What happened in Bahrain did not develop into a full revolution. It did not find that kind of space on the screens, not because of Al Jazeera or because of any network in the region, because the situation in the society itself did not allow protests to become revolutions. Even if Al Jazeera covered it intensively and put it the first headline in every single bulletin, that would have never changed the reality. It is not what we have seen in the rest of the Arab world.
Sure. I think the criticism is that compared to other broadcasters, Al Jazeera didn't really cover big protests that took place in Bahrain. Do you think that was fair?
Actually, the one who makes this doesn't know what Al Jazeera was doing. Al Jazeera was the first TV station to cover all the big, not only the big demonstrations. We have been in Bahrain reporting most of the dynamic events that are happening in Bahrain even before the uprising itself. The Bahraini government got very upset of us, and they closed down the bureau, and they kicked out our correspondents from Bahrain. And they banned Al Jazeera reporters and employees, including those who are not actually editorial, entering Bahrain. They did not allow them. And then we sent teams undercover to Bahrain, and we did report from Bahrain undercover, and we did uncover a lot of atrocities committed by the Bahraini government against the protesters in a documentary that was broadcast last year.